Getting close to using this, and not for cooking. I'm going to go out there and murder someone. It's like being on a series of Harry Enfield. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I hate people. Now when I film after each little section, I normally watch it back on the screen just to see if it sounds okay and if it looks okay. This is the one time I didn't do it, and I've done 4 lots of filming. Now I'm just going to check it and it's all been on slow-mo. So I've ruined it all. So, rewind. I'm out on a very, very little sneaky overnighter tonight, and I'm testing out the Enran2, which is the tent that I showed in the previous video, where I just put it up and showed you around it. I have brought the footprint this time, and one of the things I was just saying in the video before I realised it was on slow-mo was it's not very easy to see how it connects to the bottom of the tent. You can't peg it to the ground first, but the tent's not freestanding, so you can't make the tent and lift it up and put it on it. So luckily there's no wind here at the moment. I've laid it out on the floor, I put the tent over it and I've hooked it on, but it's got these sort of ram's hook clips on them. And it's not really that obvious as to where it goes, so I might be doing it wrong. I'll show you in a second. Another part that I said is I have taken two of the Durston X-Dome carbon fibre poles from my old set that was replaced with the new ones because there was problems with the original ones. And I just replaced the end of one of them, so they both got the same little grommet bits on the end, and I'm hoping to use this as a door stand because this weighs, I don't know, probably 15 grams, so it's next to nothing. Could do a tightening it up a little bit, but yeah, I'm going to try that on the door just to see what it's like for propping that side door open. I've also got a couple of little magnets with me that I generally tend to carry anyway for my X-Mid and X-Dome doors to help hold them up, to see if that will work on this tent as well. So yeah, I don't know if you can see them here. They're these little ram's hook clips. And the only way I can sort of see to attach them is around the string of one of the guy lines from either the inner or the outer. But it doesn't seem to suit it, you know what I mean? It won't go through that loop there, and there's nothing underneath the tent. Yeah, there's nothing under the inner for it to hook onto, so I don't know if it's right or not. TFS, tell me if I'm doing that wrong. I really like these ball end poles that go into these Jake foot clips. It just seems to go in with a nice satisfying clunk. Seriously, so much places to go and climb a rock and sit there. They want to sit right behind me filming a video. Fucking amazing. So just to give you an indication of size on this tent again, that is my mat. At the end, I can still sleep on that because it's vertical walls. And this is the other end. 1.5 feet, at least. Absolutely tons of space. Don't get me wrong, I don't believe I've got any more rights to be on Dartmoor than anybody else. And just because I'm filming, that's my problem, not anyone else's. But if I came up on Dartmoor to just sit and watch the sunset for an entire evening, which is what it looks like they're doing, I wouldn't go and find someone who's camping and then just sit right next to them. Out of pure courtesy. It just drives me mad. I don't know, it's like a magnet. It's like people who park in car parks. They can't find a space on their own. They have to park next to another car. Same mentality, I don't know. But they're just sitting there, laughing, chatting, having a picnic. Forget about whether I want actually to have some peace and quiet in my tent. You come on Dartmoor, you go wild camping for a bit of solitude, peace and quiet. There's 365 square miles on Dartmoor. Problem is, I'm trying to do a video for you guys to show you the tent and to show you what it's like for spending a night in. And I struggle when I've got someone listening to every word that I say 20 feet away. It does my head in. Anyway, back to that tent. So yeah, this is... It is a palace inside here. The headroom is not great when you're sitting up. So in the middle here, it's supposed to be 100 centimetres, but if I was crouched, I'm all right. Pushed up, my head hits it. So it's a bit tight for me, but the rest of the space I feel makes up for it. I've not got a problem with head height in tents. It's not a major issue for me. I did try looking at pulling the inner inwards a bit to increase the vestibule space, and because you have the inner really tight so that the ends are nice and square, it's not really feasible. But one clip on the top here and it drops it down almost fully, so you can actually sit on it. Then you've got tons of space. You could obviously loosen the corners as well if you wanted to give you a bit more space. I did try the door hack. I'll share a picture of it, which looked great, but it needs a spike on one end so that it sticks in the ground properly, because it's pulling it out. And it also needs something better to attach the cords to the top, because they slide down it. So it's not perfect. Little adjustments, it'll work. But it made a big difference. You've got a nice open canopy there where if it was raining lightly, you could have that open and be protected and still be able to cook inside it. Everybody listen to my voice on Dartmoor, because I'm so important. They're sitting 3 feet away from each other, 2 feet away. They're sitting next to each other. You don't need people 40 feet away to hear what you're saying, every single word. They can't hear me, I guarantee it. I'm talking quietly, talking normally. If you were sitting next to me, you'd hear me. I don't need to be talking really loud, because I love the sound of my voice. Yeah. So when it gets dark later, and I assume they piss off, I'm going to show you a new torch, tiny little thing, 53 grams I think this weighs. Little everyday carry torch, really cool. Literally fits in your pocket. I had this in my pocket on the way up here. It is tiny in my hand. It's 400 lumen, it's got a directional head on it, so it's got a magnetic back, so you can have it attached to something, and then you can have that angled. Oh my god. So yeah, you can angle the lantern whichever way you want. It swivels 180 degrees. It also has a hidden recessed clip on it, so you pull that out and you can turn the clip. Show you close up. So that's the clip recessed, tucked away, and then you pull it out and you can turn it either side of the torch, so it can then clip onto your hat. So you can use a torch like that, and then you can angle the beam wherever you want it. It's quite bright. I'll try it out later on. I might just go out and throw it at those two. They've actually got music on now as well. They brought, you know, a JBL boombox, and they're sitting there playing music. Come all the way up here to watch the sunset. I hate people. You couldn't write this if you tried. Over there, they have not stopped talking as loud as they possibly can. Now a woman has just come walking across the top of the tour on her own. Blah, 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 blah. Bluetooth headphones in, having a full-blown conversation. Saw them having a conversation, so decided to sit on the rock that's just the other side of me and have her phone call conversation. So I've now got it in stereo. I'm getting close to using this, and not for cooking. Seriously, if I hear the words, yeah, another time, I'm going to go out there and murder someone. It's like being on a series of Harry Enfield. Oh, yeah. Oh my God, the stories. It's literally, this jacket, I got this in Panama, yeah. And on this top, this was hand stitched by an Ethiopian when I was out there saving the world. Yeah, do you like my braids? Dreadlocks, love them. I'm so grounded. Daddy's a billionaire, but I'm grounded. Yeah. Right, so it's not so easy to film and show this, but I have dropped 2 clips on the inner, which has just fallen the top section in. The door is still open, quite simply because the camera's in the way, so I can't really close it. But I've put a peg in here to pull the inner back, and I've just loosened one corner on the inner to allow this to move. I've now got a good, I would say, 50 centimetres of space. I could move this further back, but it's more than enough for me to be able to cook quite safely in here. I'll try and bring you in and I'll shut the door just to show you what it's like from the inside. Door completely shut. I've got the ends of the tent open, as you can see. It's just a nice warm evening, so got a good through flow of air and a lovely sunset going on over there. And yeah, got my table here, cook set. Going to crack a lager open in a second. Plenty of space. There's not a huge amount to store gear once you've got it up. I have got my backpack wedged in the other side. It's a bit of a tight squeeze. But I could have that in the bedroom with me because there's so much space in there, so I will bring it in later on. But yeah, this is easily doable. I think I would prefer this than trying to peg the door out in bad weather. This works much better. In fact, if I had the zip open and the door open fully and it skews the camera, pegged behind, this is all inside the door, so if the rain was coming directly down or dripping off the tent, it actually wouldn't hit the footprint or the inner inside. More people. So a man and a woman, full head to toe, tweed. I think they even had +4s on. Tweed cap, waistcoat, tweed jacket. I've just come walking over, and I thought they were going to ask them what they were doing, those two, but no. I think that's Mater and Pater. Popped out to see the children. Just gone for a stroll across our land. See how it's going. Cut that bloody hair. You look like a hippie. Right, I'm going to go and sit out in the sun and annoy them and enjoy a nice can of wife beater. Another good thing about dropping the inner is I've got absolutely tons of headroom now. There's a big gap between the inner and the outer on this tent, which obviously is going to be good for ventilation. But when you drop it, it's insane how big this thing is. Yeah. Cheers. So the sun has finally gone down, so the hippies have finally left, decided to come over for a chat. He's like, oh yeah, I hope you've got some warm gear, can get down pretty chilly on Dartmoor. Can it? Really hard. Didn't know that. Yeah. When I was in the Himalayas, we had all the top end stuff, snug pack, all the high end gear, because it got down so cold up there on the Himalayas when I was there trekking. Yeah. Just sitting there giggling to myself. Sorry, I can't help but take the mickey. If you haven't watched it, watch Harry Enfield, the old series. And if you're my age or maybe in your 40s or 50s, you might remember it. It brings back memories. Yeah. Right, temperature has dropped and the wind's really picking up now. It's absolutely slamming into the tent. No, it's not. It's dead calm out there. But I'm going to take you outside and show you this torch. So this is the wuben G5. It has literally just been launched a couple of days ago. I had this for a little while, been playing with it at home, and it is a really, really good torch just for sticking in your pocket, taking with you wherever you go. You can clip it on your belt. The good thing about this little clip thing here is you can stick it on your backpack, so on the strap, and then you can angle the light whichever way you want, so you can have it while you're walking or doing anything hands-free. It's a really clever little design. I like it. I'll take you outside and show you what it's like in the dark. Just to show you the lockout function on here, when this is switched down, it is locked. Up one, it is on all the way. It exposes the USB-C charge port, so you can lock it out. As I say, it's magnetic tail cap, and that is your main button here for switching on and off, and then your roller button to go through the different functions. So just for now, I'm going to show you this with me behind it. Turn my headlamp off. That's the lowest setting. Turn the wheel up to the highest setting, and then it flashes. So that's it at 400 lumens, which is pretty decent. It's more than enough for you to walk around across Dartmoor anyway. So when it's on white light, if you press and hold it, it then changes to the colour light, and then you've got the wheel that you can go through and change the colours accordingly. All colours of the rainbow. If you double click it when it is on the coloured light, it then becomes a beacon for that colour. You can't change the colour when it's on beacon, but if you go and change the colour now to, say, red, double click it, and then it becomes a red beacon instead of the blue. When it's completely off, if you double click it, it then becomes emergency services. Nino, 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 Nino. Thing is, if you're on the side of the road and you're broken down, turn off. Blue and red flashing, although which is in theory illegal, if you are at the side of the road, broken down, people don't take much notice of hazard lights. And there's been accidents where cars have broken down at the side of the road, even with the hazard lights on, even with a warning triangle, vehicles have hit them. But if you stick that on your roof, and you've got a blue and red flashing light, you might get told off by a policeman when he turns up, but people will take notice of a blue and red flashing light. If they're coming towards you, they will immediately slow down, they'll immediately move over. It's just psychological. There's more awareness of a blue and red flashing light, so it could come in handy. The more time I'm spending in this tent, there's little things like the material that's used on the outside. It reminds me a lot of the Hillebergs, the curl-on material. So although it is not, it feels like it's very silky, very smooth. It smacks of quality. It just feels really, really nice. Everything about this tent feels really nice, really well made. And it's huge inside. I am halfway down the tent. So above me there is 4 feet that way. And I'm sitting almost with my legs stretched out. It's insane the amount of space that's in here. I like it. I really like it. So as you can probably see, my feet are down at the bottom there. My legs aren't stretched out, they're bent, but only a partial angle. I can't reach the end of the tent. It's massive. It's quite weird because I love the look of this tent from the outside. It doesn't normally bother me how a tent looks. It's more about whether it works. The weight, the internal size, the pack size. That's more my sort of criteria. But I just find myself outside taking loads of pictures of this tent because I think it just looks stunning. It's a great looking tent. I really like it. Can you tell that I really like it? So this tent is about £338. And I think when you compare it to sort of similar versions of this tent, it's a bargain. Major bargain, because it's way bigger. It's 1 kilo. It's the same weight as the lightest competitor in this area, but it's got more features on it, I think, and it's got a darn sight more space. So that torch, if you do want to buy it, I'll put a link in the description below. It is only about 20 quid, so I think it's really, really cheap for an everyday type of carry. Anyway, I'm going to get an early night because I've got a very early start in the morning. I do not think anything is going to happen tonight. It is dead still. It's lovely and calm, so no real test of this tent. But if nothing else happens, I will see you guys in the morning. I need that this morning. So last night was pretty much bereft of any kind of wind. There was a couple of little gusts or little breezes, not gusts, in the night. So my concern was about condensation in here. Now I have unzipped the ends of the tents, so I've left them clipped together at the bottom, but just with the centre zip open, which is quite nice because the sunrise is coming up above my head this morning and I can just see it through the little gap. So it's nice to be able to lay here and look at it.
My concern was going to be condensation inside here. I thought it was going to be wet. This top section is all mesh, and there's a tiny bit of mesh at each end, but inside is absolutely bone dry. The fly is soaked with condensation, so yeah, the fly is wet, but the tent has kept pretty tight as well. So once that zip is down, obviously the door's flapping at the moment, it's been tight, so it hasn't really stretched, but it's not soaked, but it is wet.
There's a bit of a breeze this morning, and she's holding well. One thing someone did comment on was the slab-sided end. So obviously it's fairly upright and into the wind. Now, a lot of these tents are designed like that. No one seems to have a problem with it. When a Chinese manufacturer brings it out, they go, that won't last 5 minutes. Now, if you watch the video that is linked to my previous one for TFS, they show the most slab-sided tent in the world in a wind tunnel at Dak, hitting 70 miles an hour, and that front does not move. But essentially it's down to the design and the strength of the stitching that's going to cause the problem or resolve the problem. And 9 times out of 10 when you see a tent collapse, it's because of pole deformation. So the pole's gone down, it can't take the wind, and then the panel goes down. It's rare that you ever see the material actually tear itself. So I don't think that is really going to be a problem, because there's no pole. There is my trekking pole. However, if you are in high winds, there is one thing that you can do. So if you know it's going to be a windy day, these toggles here that are used for tying the doors back are actually multi-purpose. So you can attach guy lines to there and the other one and down to the bottom. So that way you've got additional strengthening. Now when I took out the Nortent Lee 1, which is renowned for being very, very good in the wind, and it was, that has got a massive slab side on it, and it's got 7 guy outs on the back end for that huge side. And even I said that seemed overkill. It's a huge amount of guy out lines for it. But if you look at this, you have 1, 2 in the corners, 3 at the bottom, 4 at the top. If you add those 2, you've got 6 guy outlines on this end section that is only about 1.5 feet tall. That, I think, is going to be more than enough to keep this thing stable in the wind. I am going to take this out more, and I am going to hopefully take it out in a fairly windy camp just to give it a good test, because I think it will do well as long as it's positioned correctly. The wind at the moment is coming in the right direction for a change, which is rare, because bearing in mind I didn't even know there was going to be any wind, but there is a bit this morning. I'm zipping up my trousers because it's chilling my legs. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how well this fares in a bit of wind. But at the moment there's a slight breeze and a beautiful sunrise. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, as always, hit a thumbs up, and if you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all on the next one.